All right, that's us, WHIP Radio here in Philadelphia. Zach Gelb and Chase Sr. here with you, taking you up until noon Eastern Time, where the Temple Sports Hour will come your way. Time right now in the WHIP studios is 11:36. Now joining us on the hotline is the assistant men's basketball coach for your Temple University Owls, coming off a big win up against USF. They'll take on UCF on Wednesday, and that's Aaron McKie, who joins us right now. Aaron, how are you, my friend?
Good afternoon, guys. How are you?
Well, we're doing great, and we appreciate you giving us a few minutes. My flight actually got canceled. I was supposed to go out to the Super Bowl and enjoy the Arizona weather. Now I'm stuck in this crap in Philadelphia with all the snow. So,
you get to hang out with us.
Yeah, that's right. So, are you guys going to get out on tomorrow for this basketball game coming up on Wednesday versus UCF?
As of now, yes, but we were talking about maybe trying to get out sometime today. That's why I couldn't make it to the studio and sit in with you guys, because it's a potential that I would have to go home and get my clothes and get ready for a flight.
Well, no problem about that. There's actually a Twitter account. It's at Cheney_quotes, and it was talking about how John Cheney in layovers used to have his teams practice in the airport. You got to play under Coach Cheney, the legendary basketball coach for Temple. Did you ever have to practice in the airport?
No, but we've been in hotel ballrooms a lot. So anytime you had an opportunity, most coaches are like that, and you got downtime. You could rest assured you're gonna be going over some X's and O's. So. Yeah, I'm used to that.
You had tremendous mentors and coaches in high school with Bill Ellerby, in college with John Cheney, and then you get to the league and eventually make your way to Philadelphia, and Larry Brown is your coach. From those three coaches, what did you learn from all three of them individually?
I think consistency. I think coming in and day out, you have to have a workman-like attitude. And if you look at those three coaches, I think that's the one thing that they have in common. And the little details, they're big on details. You know, with most of these young players now, really they're looking to hit home runs, and they really don't want to pay attention to the small details of basketball.
Aaron McKie, the assistant coach of the Temple men's basketball team, joins us right now on the main event on WHIP Radio here in Philadelphia. Chase Sr. and Zach Gelb here with you. Aaron, it's Chase. It's good to catch up with you again. You spent so many years in the NBA as a player, then some years as a coach. How are you adjusting to the itinerary and the schedule of college basketball now?
It's taking me some time, but it's different, and I like challenges. And I think the one important thing that you get out of all of this with college basketball is being able to share my experiences with the student athletes that we have, and even not just with our guys, but I see some of the women's players walking around, and any of the student athletes on the football team as well. You get an opportunity to talk to them and share your experiences. I think that's for the greater good of all.
We talked to you when a couple of months after you had gotten hired for the first time, and you were en route to Virginia doing some recruiting trips. How have you enjoyed that aspect of being an assistant coach at the college level? Because it's cool, like you said, to interact with these high school players and try to attract them and lure them to Temple University.
The interaction with the players, the potential student athletes is great. The one part that I don't like about the recruiting aspect of it is trying to figure out who do you talk to.
Right.
Is it the high school coach? Is it the AU coach? Is it the workout guy? Is it the mom and dad? So those are the things that have your wheels spinning when you're trying to navigate through all of that and figure out who's the point person in the kids recruiting.
You played with with Kobe Bryant and against him as well. He kind of took a shot at the AAU level because sometimes these kids play so many games, but they're not focusing on fundamentals. What do you think in that sense?
Again, like I go back to the question you asked me. What's the one thing that I took away from the three great coaches that I played for on the high school level, on the collegiate level, on the pro level, and I think it's the workman-like attitude where you coming in being consistent day in and day out and paying attention to the small details. I think we get so enamored with playing in games that we forget about all the things that lead up to that, which is practicing and working on your craft. And I think we have to, at some point, get back to giving these kids basic ABCs and fundamentals of the basketball game.
Over holiday break, Temple was on a roll. They won 6 straight games, and a big reason for that was the play of Will Cummings, as well as the transfers and Jesse Morgan, Devin Coleman, and Jalen Bond. Will then gets hurt against Tulsa with a nice cushion in that game. You guys lose that lead. Then you drop a game to SMU when Will was about 50%. Then you go on the road and lose to Cincinnati as the Bearcats just shot the lights out of the gym. How valuable is Will Cummings to this team when he is healthy, and why is the look of this team different with him on the floor?
He's our senior leader. He's the one that has the most experience out on the court for us, and it's our point guard. So that's the most lethal position in NCAA and in professional basketball right now is that point guard position. So as he go, we go. And I thought, when he got hurt, we were just tentative. We weren't as aggressive as we normally are. We were tentative. So, as long as we can be aggressive on both ends of the floor and continue to defend, we'll put ourselves in position to win basketball games.
Aaron McKie joins us right now. Zach Gelb and Chase Sr. here with you, main event WHIP Radio in Philadelphia, talking to the assistant men's basketball coach at Temple University. Coach, I have to ask you, though, in those 3 games that you did lose to Tulsa, SMU, and Cincy, you guys got outscored 135-80 in the second half. Up against USF, you guys went out there, got a big lead in the first half, and then the second half, you guys were able to win that half by 34-28. What adjustments did you guys try to make after that Cincinnati game in the second half play of your basketball team?
Well, I think it's been our identity for most of the season. I think we'll come out sleepwalking in the second half where teams are making adjustments and playing harder and playing better, and we just kind of ease our way through the second half, and then you look up, you find yourself behind, and you can't plug in all the holes, and so we just have to make sure we have our guys focused and concentrating on playing a full 40-minute game.
Let's get to the big man. Obviously, everyone's going to want to talk about Jalen Bond, but I want to ask you about your freshman in Obi Anechionia. He's been really solid defensively. I like the way that he's aggressive at the rim and can block shots. Offensive game needs to get a little bit more consistency, but that will come over time when you have such a young player that is a freshman. What's your assessment of Obi's game so far through his short time so far at Temple?
I think he's been really good for us. I wouldn't tell him. I hope he's not listening to this broadcast. And he has ways to go. We're asking him to do a lot for us in a short period of time, and he's been responding. So the sky's the limit for the kid. If he continues to work the way he's working and coming in and putting the time in the gym, he's going to be really good for us. The one thing that I need from him is I need him to get down there and defensive rebound for us a little bit more.
There was a couple of plays in that South Florida game where Quentin DeCozy shined. He rose up, climbed the ladder, and threw down some terrific dunks. He made some outside shots, but then there's some plays where he turns the basketball over and doesn't get back on defense to try to limit the possession for the opposition. And that just shows that he hasn't quite turned the corner yet in kind of his skill set and his mindset on the floor. When you sit a player down and you talk to him about some of the positive things that he is doing, how do you not get him too down with some of the negative things that he's doing and kind of keep him even-keeled and say, hey, you're doing this well, but you got to improve in this aspect?
Well, Coach Duffy says it to the guys all the time, and he has a book that just says it's not about you.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless if you miss a shot or you make a bad play, you still have to hustle back on the defensive end and still do your job. We're all in this collectively, and everybody make mistakes, including coaches. So that has to be his mindset. Regardless of if the ball is going in the basket or he's missing every shot, you still got to collectively work as a team and do it on the defensive end as well.
This is an odd year for yourself and the coaching staff as a whole because there's not too many seasons where you go into a year and then get to impact players 10 games or 11 games into the season like you did on December 18th. Are you guys right now kind of better than you thought you were going into the season?
We came into the season thinking we can be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's taken us some time, and if you look at it, we lost some games we thought we should have won. But then again, you could look at it and say maybe we won some games most people thought we should have lost. So nobody really cares what your roster look like. You still got to go out there and play. But I know amongst us, there's a high level of confidence in how we feel with our approach to every game, we feel like we can step out there, we're prepared enough, and we can win.
A few more with Coach Aaron McKie, who joins us right now on the hotline. 215-204-9447 is our number. Jalen Bond got injured early on in the season, right around media day, missed the first 2 games. Then when he finally started getting into a rhythm, it's oh my God, it's offensive rebounds out of the wazoo. Defensive end, he's playing nice, and the offensive game just comes naturally. How impressed have you just been with Jalen Bond? I know you guys had a really high ceiling on him going into this year.
Been impressed with him. I want more. And I always tell him that. We'll celebrate at the end of the season, and we'll sit down and we'll talk about the pluses, and the minuses, about the things he did well and the things he did bad during the course of the year. But I always tell him that he reminds me a lot of Hank Gathers. Just a guy with a strong body and just a unrelenting will out on the court, and he's only going to get better. And, again, he's one of those guys that put the time in the gym. Anytime he has the opportunity, some off time, he's in there and he's working. So he's only going to get better.
And as a coach, everyone, the spotlight for the big man have been on Jalen Bond and Obi when you look at it from a fan and a talk show host perspective. But how do you get more out of Devontae Watson and Mark Williams?
I think we just have to continue to simplify things for them. And it's our job to put those guys in a position to be successful. I think Devontae has been doing a really good job for us in rim protecting and defending, and we all have our shortcomings. And again, he's a kid that he's getting better. I'm pleasantly surprised at his growth from the time that I've been here and been around him. So if we can continue to get him better, he's a guy that we're going to depend on to place a lot of those post players on the opposing team. So Mark Williams, again, he's another guy that we have to make sure we put him in a position to be successful. And I think we've been doing that for the most part. His minutes has been limited, so we need him. He's our voice defensively. He's a guy that we don't have a team that communicates verbally well a lot, and Mark is one of those guys that leads the charge with that, and he does a good job at that for us.
Aaron, last one for me. What are your overall thoughts on the American Athletic Conference as a whole so far this year?
It's tough. I mean, from top to bottom, any team is capable of coming out there and being able to beat you. And we have a team where we can't afford to make mistakes. We can't afford to have slippage. So, again, we have to come with a workmanlike attitude every day and make sure we're prepared and be able to go out and compete.
I have to follow up on one thing from earlier in this interview. You talked about how you may had to go home early today to pack your clothes. I know Larry Brown wasn't too happy with the suit you were wearing, how you outdressed Fran Dunphy. Do you kind of lower it down with how fancy you are when you sit on the bench and coach?
No, man, that's how I roll, man. You look good, you look good, you feel good.
Yeah, that's what Chase tells me all the time. Look good, feel good. But could you believe that when Coach Brown, he's in the press conference after he wins the SMU, and he starts saying, "Hey, I was pretty pissed off that Aaron McKie outdressed Fran."
No, I always used to compliment him on his suits. He always dressed nice. And we always would talk about suits, and, whenever I would wear a suit, he'd say, "Hey, that's a nice suit." So he was just messing around and saying that he liked my suit. So
some pretty well-dressed coaches in the city, and Jay Wright and Bruiser Flint. You got some competition there, Aaron.
Yeah, I'm not in competition with those guys. I always just make sure I look in the mirror and I feel comfortable with what I got.
There you go.
You got to say, "Hey, Dave Duke, Sean Trice, DK, I'm going to dress better than you guys."
Yeah, competition with them.
All right, Aaron, we appreciate it. Thanks so much, my friend.
All right, have a good one.
All right, there's Aaron McKie joining us right there. WHIP Radio in Philadelphia. Had to get that final little jab in there from Larry Brown.